All right. Welcome, everybody, to our webinar today. I'm Rob Williams with Iron Gate Entrepreneurial Support Systems, and we are doing a seminar today, 5 ways to improve cash flow in 2023. So we have 2 amazing people on our webinar today. We have Alex Barthet, the Barthet firm, and he is a construction lawyer. I mean, actual construction lawyer in Florida. So if you're in Florida, you need a construction specific lawyer because there are not many of those in our area. You need that because we have lawyers that are not. So anyway, that is Alex. He really knows what he's talking about on this. So I'm so happy to have him back. We've met before. And then we have Ariela Wagner, SunRay Construction Solutions. It's amazing what she can do. She likes to say the impossible just takes longer. She helps get these monies, the receivables, and getting that cash flow. The title is cash flow, and to improving your cash flow, because that is just a huge thing that's so important for us. And what is the main problem that I experienced as a contractor for cash flow, and then the clients that I work with, it is getting your money paid to you and trying to get the right clients. Because my book that I'm writing, The Pumpkin Plan for Contractors, the main point that we're trying to deliver is working with contractors that are trying to grow their business, but they're having a really hard time making money while they grow. And the big theme is don't just get any new job, get the right jobs. And part of the right jobs is finding the people that can pay you. I can tell you that one of the biggest problems when I was expanding and getting much bigger into the construction thing were my receivables. And getting that in was just a devastating thing to my cash flow. So I spent most of my time trying to get that cash flow in rather than all the other things I need to do in my business. So some of the promises that we do with the Pumpkin Plan is we are trying to grow your CEV, is what we call it, your contractor exit value. And we also want to get you more profitable in cash flow, but also save you time. And where do we spend so much of our time? Is getting that money. So anyway, this is y'all's subject. So Alex and Ariela, 5 ways to improve cash flow in 2023. Oh, and also one more thing, Alex, he's got the lienzone.com, unbelievable resources. He can tell you about it too, but this is lien, Lien, not lean like manufacturing, Lean, Lien. So the Lien Zone, unbelievable tools. Anyway, let you guys get at it. This is the webinar today for all of our great contractors that are trying to learn from us.
Great. Thanks, Rob, for having us. I appreciate it. As you said, my name's Alex Barthet, board certified construction lawyer here in Florida, and we focus just on helping contractors, subcontractors, and suppliers deal with contract issues and getting paid. And this topic is very appropriate. And there's really simple things that can be done that Ariela and I are going to tell you about to make 2023 a little easier. So Ariela, why don't you tell us about yourself?
Thanks so much, Alex. And thank you so much for having us on this fabulous podcast. I'm Ariela Wagner. I'm the founder of SunRay Construction Solutions. We secure approximately $10 billion a year for contractors, subcontractors, and suppliers for their lien and bond claim rights. We have an extraordinary software that helps contractors throughout the United States of America with their lien deadline, bond claim deadline, of course, preliminary notices, their deadlines. So yes, we have some really important things to discuss before 2023. I've seen an increase in contractors, subcontractors, and suppliers not getting paid by 75% in the last 3 months. I'm sure, Alex, You've seen quite a bit in your law firm. So there are a lot of people who unfortunately are not getting paid. And these are big dollar values. We're looking at liens anywhere from over $1 million to even as small as 1,000, but the increase has been 75%. So yes, we'll talk about those. Let's maybe get right into those 5 absolutely imperative things that we can do to help the audience.
So Rob, let me ask you a question, Rob. How often did you, when you were a contractor, not have a written contract or a formal contract? Because that's number 1 on our list, is having written a contract.
It was often, a lot of the times when we got into our the bigger jobs and the government jobs, we did have contracts, but did I know what was in them? Probably not. We had contracts, and typically they were their contracts, not mine as the subcontractor. And so it was not something that I knew that I could control or do anything over it. And I guess we'll talk about your stamp in a little bit too, which I love your tool.
Sure. Yeah. So it's tip number one is absolutely positively have a written agreement. Make sure you understand what's in that agreement. Ideally, you have a lawyer review it or prepare your own agreement. At a minimum, I would suggest to you, you should have a series of limitations and exclusions that you know that you're going to have to incorporate into any contract when someone gives you the contract that you have to review. We find that most clients have a list of things that they just don't include in their price. They know that I don't do these things, or my price is based on these assumptions. You have to spell that out in the contract. And if you don't, that's when problems arise. Ariela is a big proponent of telling most of the people that come to her, okay, great, I can secure your liens, but do you have a contract, right, Ariela?
Absolutely. And one of the biggest key terms in a contract, and Alex, we should really go over this one, is the paid when paid. So, and retainage. Those are two major issues that I see. And of course, in 2022, another major term that everyone needs to look at is that material price escalation, which you did an amazing seminar on that, which they can find on our website. But yeah, I think those are three major, actually, maybe even one more. You probably already have these on your list of things to discuss, but stop work. Many people think I'm not getting paid, I'm going to stop working. So I would love for the audience to know more about that paid when paid, retainage, and the other items.
So in Florida and in many states,
yes,
pay when paid is a valid and enforceable contract provision. You can have that in your contract, meaning if the owner doesn't pay the contractor doesn't have to pay the sub, as long as you have certain magic language in your contract. Some states don't allow it, but most do. Florida, as an example, does. Most contractors are not going to let you strike that. But as Ariela mentioned, the term that you absolutely should include, and clients tell me sometimes, they say, okay, Alex, what is the one change? Just tell me the one thing that I should absolutely change in this 80-page contract. If I had to pick one, I would say it's what Ariela said, the right to stop work. Just have a provision in your contract that you have to add that says, if I don't get paid in 30 days, 45 days, 60 days, some period of time, I have the right to stop work. And most people perceive incorrectly that they have that right, when in fact they don't. Many contracts actually say, even if we're not paying you, even if we don't approve your change orders, you can follow the dispute resolution process, you just cannot stop working. And what does that mean? That means you're paying your employees, you got to pay your vendors. So all this cash is going out the door and nothing is coming in the door. That's a recipe for disaster, right? I can only imagine. Rob, you see that a lot.
Oh yeah, big time. And one thing I was thinking about while y'all were talking, we have job specs. We've got all the things. We think that's a contract. It's, well, yeah, I have a contract. It says exactly what I got to do here. So, well, this would be a question, but I'd say, do people understand the difference sometimes between having the job specs and then having a real contract? And I guess sometimes they're actually, the contractors got that built in together, but
yeah, we typically see most contractors say, oh, I read the specs, I looked at the schedule, I agree with the price, so I'll sign this 80-page document. What they don't realize is that 50 of those 80 pages is terms prepared by a lawyer. So before we move on to the next item, because we got to get through 5 of these, is if you have a contract and you don't know what's in it, we've created a tool called the Contract Detective. You can go to contractdetective.com. You can upload your contract and it will look for 10 specific types of provisions. It will highlight them in the contract and it will give you a link in the document it sends back to you in about 60 seconds with more information and sample provisions on those terms, whether it's pay when paid or indemnification or the right to stop work. It's not perfect. It doesn't replace a lawyer, doesn't replace you actually reading the whole contract, but it'll at least give you some more insight into this rather dense document that you have to sign.
You
That's
know,
great. And
Alex,
is
just
that on
one of
the,
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, is that on the lien zone? Which
It is. You
website
can
do
go
they
to the
to?
lien zone and you can click on tools and it's there, or you can go straight to contractdetective.com. It'll take you right there.
Okay, great.
And one of the things it's very important is if you have a $50,000 contract, generally speaking, Alex, attorneys throughout the United States, they're not going to charge more than $1,500 for a contract review. So it's worth every penny. So I just wanted to add that. When
Yeah,
you're looking at a
you're
Yeah.
absolutely right, Ariela. Most people perceive that it's going to cost many thousands, tens of thousands of dollars to review this 100-page contract. And on average, it depends for us, but you're looking at anywhere from $1,000 to $2,500, give or take, to review and get our proposed changes and comments to a contract. And I would tell you that's average for most lawyers in most parts of the country. So
Correct.
definitely a good investment. So Rob, you ready to talk about the next one?
Yeah, let's go to number 2. What is
this
this?
This is Ariela's wheelhouse, securing your lien and bond rights, and especially not waiting until you're owed money to start the process. Right, Ariela?
Absolutely. So every single state has lien rights and, of course, bond claim rights. What's absolutely beyond words that's imperative, making sure that as soon as you have an agreement, with the exception of specially fabricated material, that time clock starts as soon as you start fabricating. But once you have an agreement in place, you want to send your what's called a preliminary notice. So in Florida, we call it a notice to owner. It's called notice to contractor. In certain states, notice of furnishings. So every single state has a different statutory name and a time period. That is one of the most important things in securing your money and your cash flow. But again, what Alex said, a lot of people, you know what, let me wait the 30 days. Well, in the state of California, you only have 20 days from the first day you furnished labor and materials. In the state of Florida, you only have 40 days from the first day you furnish labor and materials. In the majority of those states, if you are not contracted, whether that is a verbal contract or a written contract, if you're not contracted directly with the owner of the property, you need to send these preliminary notices to secure your lien and or your bond claim rights. So
yeah, it's shocking to me. I still get calls from people. Hey, I'm owed $50,000. I'm the drywall subcontractor. Okay, did you send a notice to owner? A notice to what? A notice to owner. I have no idea what you're talking about, Alex. I said, well, unfortunately, then you don't really have lien rights, and it's going to be not impossible, but more complicated now that you don't have that secured, unfortunately. So it's absolutely imperative. And as Rob mentioned, we're big at the lien zone on tools. We have lots of free tools that we give out. Ariela's website has a calculator on it to calculate all the dates in all the states. The lien zone only focuses on Florida. So, but we have this little wheel. It's called the Calculine. If you go to calculine.com, you can get this and it'll calculate the lien deadline dates for Florida. But again, if you have other dates in other states that you need to calculate, if you go to the SunRay website, they have calculators for every state and they tell you what you need to file in each state, right, Ariela?
Absolutely. So in Illinois, for example, interestingly enough, unless it's owner occupied, you don't have to send a preliminary notice. So it depends on what tier you are, what kind of projects you're working on, and you can go to sunraynotice.com, and under our solutions, our Calculine is over there, similar to what Alex has, but for, as you mentioned, for all 50 states.
So the third thing, Rob, that I see is where people are owed a lot of money, and I'm guessing you probably could attest to this, is doing extra work without written authorization. It's a big deal, right?
Yeah, the superintendents are always, oh, here, do this, and we'll take care of it. And you get that relationship, and you're wanting to, you're afraid sometimes if you don't do that, that somehow they'll ding you somewhere else. So it's, oh yeah, let's just get it started. And yeah, my business, sometimes that was a lot of money, a lot of materials, and then it wasn't just labor, it was a lot of product as well. And yeah, and that definitely bit us a lot of times, because then the office didn't agree with the superintendent. So
right, exactly, right. You find out afterwards, well, wait, I did all the work and now you don't want to pay me. So I tell clients all the time, especially if you're dealing with a more sophisticated owner or contractor and you have their form of contract. The solution is not, you don't have to be confrontational. The answer is very simple. I am using your contract. Your contract has a list of rules that we have to follow for change orders. So I'm happy to do the change orders that you want me to do. But look, on paragraph 14, page 36, subpart A, it says that before I can do any change order work, you have to give me a written authorization. So I'm happy to do it, but I'm just following the rules that you set. So if you want to change the rules, we can sign a change order that changes these rules, but we're just going to do what you said, right? That's the way that you can turn it around. It's not on you. You're not being the difficult person. You're saying, hey, man, I'll do whatever you want, but these are the rules you told me I had to follow. So I think
That's
if
a
you do
great
that,
point. And
it
you
softens
guys that
the
are
blow.
listening here, you need to tell your guys in the field, because I know a lot of times you're not out there. You've got a superintendent or somebody working for you, probably. I mean, maybe you're out there, but that's a great point. I needed that 20 years ago.
And we find that is the hardest money to collect. In many states, Florida in particular, it is potentially not lienable if you don't have the proper authorization for the work. So that means you've done all this work, you're owed the money, and you can't even lien for it. In many states, it's the same. You need to have some contractual basis for the amount that's due. So it's an easy way to limit your exposure. Now, by no means does it mean that they're going to pay you. What it does do, though, is that now you have at least documented it consistent with your contract so that when you have to fight about it, the fight is typically over the value of the work, whether you did the work, whether it was an extra. It's not, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Show me the document that said you were supposed to do it. And they're fighting over, let's call it the authorization to even do the work. So keep that in mind. Well, we talked about number 4 already, which is stopping work if you're not getting paid. Yeah, sometimes you send folks to me, and that's a big problem that they have, right? They want to keep working, and you tell them to stop working if they're not getting paid, right?
Not always. It all depends. I'd love to tell them to stop working if they haven't been paid, but we have situations where there's a barricade company, and the barricade company, they couldn't remove their barricades. Why? Because it's considered a hazard to the people. If someone, God forbid, gets injured, they can actually get sued. So they had to keep their barricades out, and they were not getting paid. So that's another use case of issues that could happen. But yeah, that happens all the time. You have customers, I think they feel that they're going to get paid, but I don't know. I've never felt through osmosis or diffusion a paycheck come through. It's when it hits the bank.
Right.
So going back to the stop work, I think it's really important to make sure that prior to you stopping and making sure, of course, you have all of your contract, your preliminary notices in place. You also want to make sure you're documenting everything. It seems, oh my goodness gracious, it's so much work, but it's not. When you document every single day, take a few photographs, send off emails. You could send it right from your phone. Hey, look, just confirming this was done. This is the checklist. So if, God forbid, there is an issue, you have every single point documented. So if you need to stop, you could stop, and you could leave with your head held high. Oh, has nothing to do with the lack of integrity of your relationship. It has to do with getting paid.
One of the things that we see contractors do, and I will call them aggressive contractors. Some may have other words for them besides aggressive, but I'll just say aggressive contractors, is it's like you're on the African safari and they're the lion and you're in the pack, and the pack is you and all the subcontractors, right? And what do the lions do, right? Do they go after the gazelle that is the strongest and the biggest? No, they go after the weakest one, right? The one that's going to be the easiest target. And who is that on the construction project? That's the sub that hasn't been going to meeting, has no email correspondence of consequence in the file, has received notices from the GC and has never responded, has no pictures in their file to support any of the things that they want to use to dispute what the contractor is saying. That's the contractor that is most likely at closeout going to be approached by the GC and say, well, we've got this $100,000 back charge and we happen to owe you $100,000, so we're not going to pay you. And what are you going to do to defend yourself, right? As Ariela said, what is it that you have? Do you have a stack of emails to present to the contractor? Do you have pictures and videos of the project? So if you're the framer and you can say, hey, look, I couldn't put my framing, the windows weren't in, the drywall, I can't put it in if the windows aren't in and the roof's not in, and that you wanted me to go to the 34th floor and look, you didn't even build it on time because look at my pictures that show that the schedule. Do you have any of that? If you don't, you are that hobbled gazelle on the African plains waiting to get taken advantage of. So don't be that person. Learn from this presentation to know that you just have to tighten up all of that in 2023. It's very important. How well did you document, Rob? Was it a big issue for your company?
We did a lot of documentation. I mean, back in the days, everybody had a digital camera and stuff. So we had some of that, but I would still say that we were the limping gazelle a lot of times. Well, one, we had a large dollar amount. We were one of the biggest subcontractors a lot of the time. And we were not necessarily used to dealing with that. And the change orders actually probably got us more than some of these other things. So we kind of had a saying that's, well, if they don't want to pay us, they can figure out how not to pay us. So we want to always get them where we want to pay us, but we didn't have YouTube in our corner. And so I love this lean versus lean, LIEN, to do lean manufacturing, LEAN. We were real big in the lean manufacturing, but having this process, doing everything yourself is going to take so much time. It's not very lean. If you have people that are specifically in this process, like Ariela and Alex, it is so efficient and such a process, but we lose the proportion sometimes of the cost of doing these things. The cost to have this process outside, you see a figure, but that is so small. It's so small compared to the big picture that our brains can't process this. So it's actually a very lean, LEAN, process to be able to do this and have somebody to put these in place. For you to figure it all out on your own is going to cost you multiple times more than having
think about
an
it.
expert.
If you miss a lien deadline and it costs you 10, 20, 15, $50,000.
Yeah, I'm thinking $100,000 or $200,000.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
The idea that you would spend the time and effort to have a system in place with SunRay to secure your liens, it's the cheapest insurance you can buy, quite frankly. I mean, it's contractors complain about how much they pay for insurance. They wish their insurance premiums would come down. Well, this is the cheapest insurance you can buy to protect the money that you're getting. Sometimes when we represent developers, sometimes we're on both sides. Most of the time it's the tradesperson. But when we represent developers, the first people that don't get paid are the ones when the file comes to us and we look and we see, okay, who has lien rights? Oh, these 7 people don't have lien rights. We're not even talking to them. We don't even have to waste our time because they have no right to make a claim on the property. So we're going to focus on the people that have a claim and we're going to resolve those claims, and everyone else, they're going to get nothing. So you got to be prepared for that, which I guess leads to the last point, number 5, don't delay in pursuing your legal rights. What we find is that folks that wait, typically their case gets worse. Your project manager who ran the job, she left to take another job 8 months after the job was over. That's your primary witness. Who are you going to use to support your case if these people leave? Documents get lost.
And Alex, Scott, talking about the documents getting lost and these issues, a lot of SunRay's customers, we not only are a document lien service, we're also a documents management service. So all of your contracts, change orders, photographs, emails, you can go right into your app, the SunRay application, and keep track of everything in one spot. So what Alex was saying, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but I just recently experienced this with another customer, that someone was terminated. They have no idea where documents are. And so, they're missing. So What do? Well, if you have them stored in one specific area and you have a checklist, I'm big on process. So it eliminates a lot of emotional distress. you have process in place. But yes, I couldn't agree more with that. Yeah, you can go into your SunRay application and manage everything in one spot. All your documents, all your emails, all your photographs, all of your change orders.
Yeah, it's critical. The documentation and then not waiting until the last minute. So in Florida, you have 1 year from the date the lien is recorded in order to pursue your lien rights. But that's the last date. You don't have to wait until the year. You could file a lawsuit within days or weeks of recording the lien. And our advice generally is, unless you have a business reason that you want to wait. Okay, we've liened for $20,000. We're on the same job with the same contractor for 6 other contracts. Let's just let that one wait. Let's work through these other ones. That's a good business reason to wait. But beyond that, you should not be waiting too long to pursue your legal rights. I think, in my opinion, if you employ these 5 things in 2023, I think you'll see your cash flow position improve, because now you're going to get paid faster. By the way, that's the other thing we didn't talk about. The people that get paid faster are the people that properly secure their lien rights. The mere act of serving a notice to owner or preliminary notice on the job elevates you to make sure, oh, geez, I can't get paid by the owner unless I get a release from this person. So I guess I have to make sure that I get that payment to them so they give me the release. If you don't serve that notice to owner, you
get paid last.
You get paid last, if
You
at all.
are the gazelle.
Yeah. with the limp leg, not the fast gazelle.
Right.
Poor gazelle.
Yeah. Well, this is great. This is amazing for all our pumpkin plan contractors out here. This fits a few of the blanks, because we're about finding the right customers and doing your systems and processes and put in place. So not only do you get an efficient, lean process by having it done outside, and this is not here selling Ariela and Alex, this is for you guys to learn, but you can have somebody else. But having that done is cheaper and better than you can probably do it in-house. But the other thing, the bigger benefit of getting that money is now you can get more ideal clients. That's what we're about, is getting the right clients. So a lot of these clients that I know we would have disqualified because we didn't know how to do business that way. We maybe weren't as professional, especially the bids that would come in, the out-of-town contractors, those scared us to death. We didn't know. And I think one of the big ones, they were owned by 7 lawyers. I remember that big job. We were scared to death of those guys. And they did get us because we were the limping gazelle. And so you have that, and they could be an ideal client for you because it was great work if you know how to play the game. So you can be efficient, but now you can get more ideal clients as part of your pumpkin plan because you know how to do this and play their game by their rules and your rules that are the laws that we don't necessarily play by those rules. But this is great. Anything else I know we have a hard stop.
No problem. Rob, thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to talk to your group of listeners. Okay.
On the way out, tell them how they can get in touch with you guys again.
Sure. Again, my name is Alex Barthet. You can send me an email, Alex, ALEX, @barthet.com, B as in boy, ART as in Tom, HET as in Tom, Alex @barthet.com. Or you can go to the Lien Zone, LIEN, lienzone.com. That's where we have all of the information. We have links to the events. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there's this
the
stamp.
Events.
We didn't talk about this stamp. Go there and find out what this is, because it's great.
If you want to learn more, Ariela and I have webinars that we do every month, 20 minutes once a month on a very simple, narrow topic. So you can go to thelienzone.com, click on events. You'll see them all there. You can sign up right there for all of the events for the rest of 2023.
Great. And if anyone wishes to reach out to me, my name is, again, Ariela Wagner, and that's Ariela, ARIELA, at Sun, SUN, as in Nancy, RAY, notice, NOTICE.com. You can always visit our website. We have a voluminous amount of information in all 50 states. And in 2023, of course, Alex is our expert on Florida lien and lien bond claim laws, contracts, but we have 49 other attorneys that we work with throughout the United States, because each state, as I mentioned 624 sentences ago, has its unique lien and bond claim laws. But we're here to assist you, even if it's a simple question. We understand we help small, medium, and large. Everyone is important.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I know you guys got to go in wherever you're watching this. If you're watching it live, you have that or some show notes. That'll all be in there. So thanks so much. And we'll see you next time with Iron Gate Entrepreneurial Support Systems and getting you on the pumpkin plan for our contractors. Thanks.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you so much, Rob.
Thanks.